over the past 5 months, we have heard stories from people who waited and waited for their unemployment benefits. And we've also covered stories about fraud and crooks looking to cash in on the pandemic.
And tonight we have an example of that fraud, which might make you angry. Our investigative reporter Morgan Lowe is exposing the way criminals, some of them already behind bars, are getting their hands on money intended for legitimately unemployed families.
It started in mid-July when our tenants were moving out.
Victoria Corsi is talking about what she found in the mailbox of her Phoenix rental home. Envelopes from DES addressed to people who never lived there. Envelopes containing benefits cards loaded with unemployment cash.
Nobody that lives here has applied for unemployment, ever.
How many of these cards have you received at this address so far?
6.
What do you think caused this?
I think there's some big fraud going on somewhere. And I think that it's really bad fraud because it's taking money away from people that really need it and putting it on cards that are going where? We don't know where.
We've been waiting for 7 weeks now for our benefits.
This woman, who agreed to speak to CBS 5 Investigates on the condition we conceal her identity, says that while she was waiting for her legitimate benefits, she has received benefits cards with other people's names on them.
Right now I have a stack here.
She says she's received 10 in total.
What do you make of the irony that you're waiting for your legitimate claim to come through? Meantime, you're getting these other illegitimate claims that have been approved.
It kind of just falls more into the 2020 unprecedented year of craziness, of everything being so obscure and weird. But I can't make it. It doesn't make any sense.
Are you guys finding that people who don't deserve these benefits are applying and sending them to vacant homes out there?
Fraud is a nationwide problem, and it's definitely impacted our ability to do this work in Arizona.
Michael Weishart is the DES director. He says that normally there are roughly 3.4 million workers in Arizona. This year, 2.8 million people have applied for unemployment benefits.
Now, while unemployment is very high, obviously that numerically doesn't make sense.
Weishart says the large amount of fraud has slowed down the agency's ability to get cash to people who deserve it. But we asked him about the specific situation we are investigating. This one address had 10 pieces of mail from DES, I think addressed to 8 different people. Shouldn't that have been flagged before it got to 8 different people at the same address?
We took steps to make sure that we got as many eligible people paid as possible. And in certain circumstances, when you talk about homeless shelters or other community living environments, there would be valid reasons why multiple individuals would receive unemployment insurance mail at the same address.
He says that problem has been fixed. But while I was investigating this story, I received a letter from DES sent to my address, but addressed to somebody else. You can feel the benefits card inside. So who are the people who are applying for these cards? Victoria Corsi says she did some research.
Some of the names I look up come back as historical figures.
But it looks like at least one of these cards was requested by someone who's behind bars.
He's a prisoner in North Carolina.
DES officials say this is happening because crooks purchased people's identities on the dark web. They then use those ID profiles to apply for benefits cards. And investigators say they send them to seemingly random addresses in hopes they can swing by and snag the cards before the real homeowners spot them. I'm Morgan Lowe for Arizona's Family.